One thing you can be sure about in politics is that everything is connected. And currently, there are two controversies that are dictating what political analysts are looking at. And I'm sure many of us are already aware of those two hot potatoes in Kenyan politics currently. Trans Nzoia Governor George Natembeya has taken on Bukusu kingpin, Ford Kenya kingpin, Moses Wetangula, with his brand new clarion call, which is threatening to become a movement called Tawe, which is Luhya for no. And then number two, somebody has gone to court and successfully stopped the opening of the servers. And of course the response from Azimio has been immediate, because Kalonzo Musyoka and Eugene Wamalwa have told Kenyans Azimio is going back to the streets. Maandamano are coming back with the vengeance. And please don't forget, even as we proceed, hang on very dearly to that basic principle. Everything is connected. Of course it will become clearer as we proceed with our show today. Moto kuliko pasi ya makaa, for sure. Right, let's keep the order the same. We'll start with Natembeya before we move on to maandamano. Now, most Kenyans are in the dark about George Natembeya's background, where he came from. In my opinion, it is dangerous, it is reckless to analyze any politician without first of all looking into their background and understanding their history, so that you clearly know where they're coming from. This of course also informs you on their character, the possibility of them selling out to the other side. Now, George Natembeya came to the limelight, got his start as the personal assistant to the then internal security minister, or cabinet secretary. Those days it was still minister, under the old constitution, a man called John Michuki. Something else I need to remind you: George Natembeya made his mark as the administrator of the government most responsible for the highest number of evictions from the Mau forest. Remember the Mau forest controversy? This is a very key water tower in the country called Kenya that was invaded by settlers, mostly from the Rift Valley. And you will remember that most politicians, most prominent individuals from Western Kenya at the time were treading very carefully over the Mau forest eviction for obvious reasons. Western Kenya are neighbors to the Rift Valley, and therefore politicians were terrified of upsetting their neighbors, some of whom are voters in their own constituencies in Western Kenya. Even civil servants were terrified, because although they were not in politics, the age-old wisdom of you do not upset your neighbors, as long as the route to your house is through their territory still stands. But Bwana Natembeya seemed to be very courageous, did not fear anything, did not fear any consequences, and he went into the Mau evictions with vigor. Okay? And yet another piece of very important, relevant, instructive information about Bwana Natembeya is that this man is the blue-eyed boy of, wait for this one, former President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. The political reality is that you don't climb up the ranks so quickly, so super fast as Bwana Natembeya without a powerful political godfather. Yeah, in Kenya, akwendangi hivyo, you must have a very powerful political godfather. And I have just revealed to you who the powerful man behind Natembeya is. Yeah, because Uhuru Kenyatta is still powerful. Upende usipende. And I believe this was confirmed recently when Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua shocked everybody by doing something UD and Kenya Kwanza never do. Humbling himself and appealing, begging for forgiveness from former First Lady Mama Ngina Kenyatta, of course, who is the mother to the 4th President of the Republic of Kenya, Uhuru Kenyatta. I hope we all understand that it is highly unlikely that Bwana Gachagua woke up one morning feeling very repentant and decided to repent, ask for forgiveness from Mama Ngina Kenyatta, whom the UDA government have done a lot of damage to. Indeed, at one point, forcing her to do something she never does, to come out and speak politics, defending herself. Okay? My point is, Uhuru Kenyatta, with the backing of the Kenyatta family, is a politician, is still a politician who cannot be ignored. Upende, usipende. Now it is also true that the man who is on the crosshairs of Governor Natembeya currently, Moses Wetangula, also has his own issues, very many issues, with the Ruto regime. Yes, Ford Kenya is within Kenya Kwanza. Yes, Wetangula is a key Ruto man, or so it seems. But there are major internal issues between Wetangula and the Ruto regime. And most of them stem from the fact that Wetangula has stubbornly refused kuingia box and to accept the Ruto proposal of folding up Ford Kenya, of joining a strengthened united UDA party in preparation for the 2027 general elections. And therefore, one would be forgiven for suspecting that Natembeya is being used by Ruto to finish Wetangula. And by the way, it is the view of most analysts that Natembeya will succeed in dethroning Bwana Wetangula as the kingpin amongst the Bukusu nation, and amongst a large portion of the Luhya nation. Actually, Natembeya is once again very bad news for Ruto, because many people have seen that his 2027 strategy has two key communities in it, the Somali community and the Mulembe nation. In my opinion, most Kenyans, including analysts, have not been able to note a very important development in the Trans Nzoia governor. And that is, Bwana Natembeya has been very strategic during his campaign, and especially after he was sworn in as governor of Trans Nzoia. In fact, he has been so quiet that some people have speculated he has joined the Ruto side. But now, with this latest development of the Tawe Movement, it should be rather obvious, that hypothesis has been thrown straight into the trash can. It doesn't fit. And in line with being strategic, the timing of these attacks against Wetangula, the timing of the Tawe Movement is precisely super perfect. Why? Well, for many reasons. Remember, we said at the beginning of the show today, everything is connected. However, also because it has become increasingly difficult for the UDA fellows to do anything political within the Mulembe nation. And that is one of the reasons why the UDA elections, party elections, have been postponed and postponed, and now are looking more and more unlikely to ever take place. And let me give you a further hint there. The UDA elections can never take place if a key region in the 2027 strategy has not been sorted out. And of course, that key region is the Mulembe nation. And there's also something else. Everything is connected. And currently, and I will call these people what they are called in the Mulembe nation, Vasungu. Currently, one of the biggest headaches with this administration is what is happening worldwide to the influence of the Vasungu. You see, if you are brought into power with a lot of help, with a lot of support of people whose power and influence is waning by the day worldwide, don't you think you'd be more than concerned? Please allow me to leave it there. But I believe my point has hit home. To analyze politics, especially these days, you must always remember that everything is connected. Okay? Now, before we move on to number 2, I believe it is also very important for me to remind us that the largest community by far within the Mulembe nation are the Bukusu. Okay? And the Bukusu populate a lot of Trans Nzoia and indeed a lot of Western Kenya. They are the largest community, followed by the Maragoli. And so, any strategy of invading the Mulembe nation must start with the Bukusu people. And this would explain why Ruto's strategy amongst the Mulembe nation since 2013 has been very heavily dependent on the Bukusu community. It is instructive that when the Bukusu community's political leanings were aligned with the rest of the Luhya nation, the large vote-rich Mulembe nation was united. And that's the last time they were united in politics. This was the days of legendary freedom fighter, founding father of the Kenyan nation, Masinde Muliro, who was also one of the founding members of the mighty, unbogable, Forum for the Restoration of Democracy movement that was key in restoring multi-party democracy into Kenya in the year 1992. Now, somebody has gone to court and, bila kizungu mingi, have managed to stop the opening of the servers. It is important for us to remember one of the key, very important strategy that has always been used by our politicians since 2010, when our new constitution became effective, is wasting time, using time to solve problems. In other words, if a problem is too big, too sensitive, then you just make sure that you make moves to put it on the back burner. And as you do so, time is going. And before you know it, the next general elections are here. And that issue that was Sumbua Dada, Sumbua Ndugu, was really a headache to you, becomes a non-issue as Kenyans dive into a general election. And it would seem that this issue of opening the servers is now in that category. It is now in the back burner, because the courts have stopped it effectively. And of course somebody went to the courts. Somebody was strategic. Somebody knew exactly what they were doing. Now, I am going to say something very controversial that I know most of us will not agree with. But I am very strongly convinced. This timing, this move of halting the opening of the servers is a fatal mistake. Very fatal. Especially because of the timing. Now we know that Azimio bigwigs have told us very clearly that any attempt to stop opening of the servers will mean an immediate return to the dreaded maandamano. Because it is this administration, it is the Ruto government which really fears maandamano. They're terrified of maandamano. And of course their backers, Vasungu, are also terrified of a return to maandamano. But in my opinion, what should keep them awake at night is not what Kalonzo Musyoka and Eugene Wamalwa said. No. It is not what Azimio may want to say in response. No. What should keep them awake at night are the millions of Kenyans who at this very moment are fed up with the Ruto administration. And the last thing you want to do, if you're in power, is to give these millions of Kenyans a trigger. A trigger that they can be able to use to trigger back maandamano. And stopping the opening of the servers is one such possible trigger. Now, many times these troubles can be caused by not one trigger, but by several. Of course, there'll be the one that will be the last straw. And already we have seen many triggers. The high cost of living, rampant corruption that many are saying is now worse than Moi corruption, in the 90s and 80s. Nepotism in government employment and appointments. The eviction of people and the demolishing of people's houses. And some of these people being evicted are on land that was held by their great grandparents. Now all those are very serious triggers. But in my opinion, failing to open the servers could be the last straw that breaks the camel's back. Especially because of what is happening all around the world concerning the influence and the power of the Vasungu. Now, very quickly before I go, Weekly Intelligence Briefings number 120 has been out over the last couple of days. And if you're a subscriber, you should have received it in your inbox. Unless, of course, there's something wrong, in which case you should contact me using the email address you see on your screens right now. I usually act with speed, and in case your subscription has expired, you can see details on your screens right now on how you can renew it very quickly. And I also strongly recommend a special offer available only for the next 48 hours strictly, of 2 highly sensitive special reports. You can see details on your screens right now. The Monster Ruto, Kenyans will never really know. And the second one, unimaginable server secrets that cover a lot of real life situations, real life events, real life political events, described in great detail, a majority of them not in the public domain. That will help you bring all this together very neatly so that you understand. And my special offer is that these 2 highly sensitive reports, the 2 of them are available for the price of only one, for only Kenya shillings 3,999. Now, of course, these highly sensitive reports were available only to very few people, and we did not reach the small audience target we had for both, and therefore I've decided for only 48 hours we will try to do that through this very special offer. Please take full advantage of it. Until next time, this is Chris Kumekucha.